Hey Billy. Ooh. Hey Billy, thank you for all your love and support. This video is dedicated to you. Now let's get into my high school career of art. Look, I didn't even know you could move this. This is so funny. So, first of all, we have to start before we can even get to high school. We need to get back to the root of who Jojo is. Jojo always liked art since I always liked art since I was a kid. My mom, I remember her telling me she could always tell that I had a thing for color, but I did not know how to draw at the time. And so when I was in middle school, I started to watch cartoons. I started to like cartoons. So that led me to want to, copy the cartoons and draw what I saw. So that's exactly what I did. I also remember I used to watch Vex. I love Vex. Ooh, I'm at 5% by the way. Anyway, so this is some of the stuff I did. So all these pieces up here are the stuff I did before high school, and I actually used this stuff when I went to high school to show to the teachers so I could get into the advanced classes. So once they saw that, they moved me up to more advanced art classes because they saw that I really cared about art. This piece I did in 7th grade. This was my first real painting ever, and it actually went in the museum for a year and it toured all around my state. So, period. Okay, so now we're going into the first year. The first year was kind of not good because even though I had gotten into those special classes, I had to wait a year. So, anyways, I didn't really feel like I was being challenged that year, and I remember being impatient and being frustrated. I also remember at this stage that before I met my amazing teachers in the next couple years that I didn't really know what I wanted to say in my art. I was just kind of copying images and I didn't really have anything I wanted to say. I didn't know what I wanted to say. I really like that I'm making this video because it's making me reflect on my stages as becoming the artist I am today, and it wasn't as fast forward as quick as I would have thought, and it makes me appreciate the journey. This was the summer before I started meeting my artist teachers, and I remember also doing this and feeling frustrated. I want this to be really cool, but at the same time I enjoyed it, but I also felt like this isn't good art. And if I could tell myself then is just create. If you like it, you like it. That's all that matters. Every time you do art, you're getting a little bit better, and just make it for yourself. It doesn't have to be this huge thing for everyone to see. Here's more examples. I really like this piece. I was proud of it. Okay, so now we're getting into the second year of my high school career. This is one of the first watercolor paintings I ever did. This is also this this painting right here is also one of the first paintings I ever did. So this year was when I first got into painting classes. I've painted before, but I really started to learn the basics of painting. At the same time, I was also in a drawing class with my other teacher, and he made us do a lot of assignments where we had to, he gave us guidelines. And because of those guidelines, I was like, ugh, I don't like this. I don't like this. But it paid off in the end because one, this is really cool. And two, later, then we started to develop our own ideas. So this was the first time I actually was like, what type of art do I want to make? What do I want to say? What's my message? So these two pieces are examples of, so my grandma, she passed away from Alzheimer's, and her paintings I wanted to explore was what are people with Alzheimer's going through? What are they going through? So this is kind of what I did, and I used my own inspiration from pictures of my grandma. And also, I'm not going to find the pictures, but I also had to do a lot of sketches and write down the process. I can try to find sketches for later works, but that was something I started learning too, not just make the art, but research what do I want to talk about, brainstorm ideas, because that's actually how you can develop an idea. Also, that year was the first time I had an art competition with my work, and that piece actually got first place in the whole state. So, like, that was actually a big moment for me because I was like, wow, like, it showed me that, like, what I'm doing is important. Also, I got this too. And then that summer, I was bored. So I started to do my own work because I was like, what do I want to say for myself that doesn't have to do with school? So I started playing with the ideas of my cartoons because I always draw cartoons. And that's why I didn't like that second year a lot too, was because I didn't get to draw my cartoons. So I got to put it in here. And when I was making these pieces, I thought they were horrible because it was like, oh, this isn't the style that people like. I personally love the pieces, but I was like, I felt really bad because I was like, this isn't the normal type of art that people like to see. So I felt really bad about it. And it wasn't until a couple years later when I started showing it to people, like on the streets and things, that I realized, like, hey, like, I started to see the value in my art because I also started to see the value in myself. So one thing is, like, sometimes artists don't see the value in their own work because they don't appreciate themselves, so they can't appreciate their work either. And that's where I was during this stage when I was making these pieces. Here are some more paintings from the first year. I mean the second. I don't know. I think, okay, so this one is actually the second year. So this is my second year of taking painting now. During that time, I was also in my first AP art class. This was AP drawing. So the first quarter, I had a hard time coming up with ideas and pieces. I was like, what am I going to do? I don't know what to do. I remember my mom getting mad at me because my teacher was like, oh, JoJo's behind, yada, yada, yada. I took the whole quarter to make this, and I was really proud of it, but my mom was getting mad at me just because my teacher was saying, like, he takes a while making his pieces. Long story short, it all worked out in the end, and my mom need to chill. But then the next quarter, I had to do like 3 pieces per quarter. So I think this was the second quarter where I made this piece, or the first quarter. And this is when things started to take off. This was the first piece where I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm finding my voice. So I'm going to now show you all the pieces in the APR portfolio, which got a 5. And I worked my butt off for this. I had tears, anxiety, stress. I even put this to get a 5 on the AP, like on the manifestation board, because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think I could do it. So it starts out with this piece, and the questions are about who am I, what is my identity, and how can I find myself and be true to myself when I also have to deal with my family, people at school, like what society and people expect of me. So this is another piece in it, and this has to do with like familial roles and how I feel. Um, T. Here's another piece. This one took me like a couple months to do. The easy part was like the watercolor, all the angry yelling faces, but the hard part was the acrylic. Here's another one. This has to do with like responsibilities. And while I was working on those pieces, I was also in my painting class. So I had 2 classes where I had to do a lot of artwork at the same time. And I did this piece. It took like a month or two, like, and I had a lot of fun doing this piece. I had a lot of fun with the background. This was one of the first pieces where I really started going crazy with the abstract background. And that was something I started to explore, like, how can I combine abstract with like realism? And that's something that has been a journey for me to discover. This piece I threw together really fast. I really liked the textures, the ACT stuff. I literally was going through the ACT this year. This was my junior year. This was another piece I did. This piece also, like, I had to do sketches beforehand, and I actually used reference pictures of myself. I took this in the hallway of my house. This one was my favorite one that I did. I also used reference pictures. This is turning into a long video, so I'm going to make a part 2. Billy, I hope you like this video. Sorry that I forgot to post it. But I mean, I'm putting it out now. Thank you so much for your support. This is the last day of us on TikTok. It's been real, y'all, and I've had so much fun sharing my art and just being able to be myself on here without all the low vibrational, like, monitoring spirits on Instagram. Y'all are the real deal. Thank you so much, and let me know if you like anything you see. Period.